Friday, January 26th. We have so much to talk about on a Friday, and we're also welcoming a very special guest commentator, Subi Ghosh from Stream Companies. But, you know, we have some news in NADA and, you know, other things to talk about today.
Paul, next week this time, well, okay, let me give a little caveat on quote unquote this time, because it's technically 6 a.m. in Vegas, but around this time, the automotive industry will be thinking about waking up and heading to the show floor and the education and the community, the conversations, the OEMs, things, and all of the stuff at NADA. Like, let's go.
That probably merits a little housekeeping. So if you're used to the show coming on around 9 Eastern, it's going to be a little later. But starting on Thursday, we're going to have NADA show coverage. So make sure you stay tuned to the channels. The best place is really LinkedIn. If you go to LinkedIn and follow the ASOTU page, we're going to have a lot of content being streamed and posted there. But also go to our email list, go to asotu.com, sign up for the email so you'll get the recaps, you'll get the live stream links and all that. And if you're going to be in Vegas, we are having a meetup, and people have been DMing, texting me like I'm being there. People are showing their flight schedule, saying
I got
like,
two
this is
people
why I won't be there.
Entire company. We're bringing that literally this morning texted me like, I got our entire company on a calendar invite. We're coming. So it's going to be crazy at the live stage at 3:15.
Yeah. So 3:15 on Thursday, the 31st. The NADA live stage is right next to the registration booth. So it's in this main huge lobby. That's upside down. There you go. We are going to have pins for everyone and these holograph stickers that say more than cars, because the point is we're going to actually have more show and tell.
Oh, show and tell. I love this. This is a great Friday. The poor people that are listening to the podcast. We can describe. I'm good at describing.
So I'm holding up an NADA show badge right now. And the point of the pin and the sticker is that the pin goes on the lanyard here, and the sticker goes on the actual badge, because you know what it's like at NADA. Everyone's looking down at your badge to see if you're important enough for them to stop and talk to or not.
That's such a good way of putting it.
And if you have a more than car sticker on your badge, people may just think you're better than you are. Let's just put it this way, right? I used to say, like, you know, back, do you remember MySpace? Did you even have MySpace?
Bro, I had a MySpace. I guess I probably still have a MySpace. I don't know what that is.
I hope you don't still have a MySpace. But I used to say, I'm like, look, listen, we all know that profile pictures are just a way to judge whether or not you're better than somebody else.
Right. That's exactly.
All that aside, make sure you're at the meetup. 3:15, that is Vegas time, so Pacific. 3:15 on Thursday at the NADA live stage. We're going to be on for 15 minutes featuring the docuseries we're doing with the dealer. And then we're going to shuffle off to the side, have a big meetup, make a bunch of noise, give everybody the pins and the stickers, and hopefully meet a lot of people for the first time and reunite with people we haven't seen in a while.
Yes.
All right. It's time for the guest commentator. Let's bring Subi into the show. I don't know, Subi, are you ready for all this on a Friday morning? Hold on. We got to unmute Subi.
She's got to unmute.
I'm learning how to use audio for the first time. So
I mean, you seem like the kind of person to me that wakes up about the crack of noon every day, and then
yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, you've probably been up for 4 hours already.
I'm not a morning person, but early enough. But I'm running on very little sleep over the last 4 or 5 months.
Yeah. So you have a pretty big title, Executive Vice President of Strategy, Partnerships, Strategic Partnerships and Marketing, right? So they just keep giving you more responsibilities over there.
Tack it on.
But you're going to be at NADA, so I'm sure there's some preparation going on around the halls of Stream right now. And you have a pretty big announcement today of a pretty seismic partnership. Tell us about that for a second.
Yeah, I'm really excited. This actually started last year at NADA. We had some conversations because we felt like there was this gap in the space of a partner, a solution that does it all when it comes to advertising technology and does it really well. And so Stream is very excited to announce a strategic alliance with DealerOn.
There you go. Wow, that's big. So you have big web tech, big ad tech, all that. And as in the marketing industry, we like to say, so everyone can affectionately have one throat to
choke.
One throat to choke. Right?
For better or for worse.
We just want to know whose fault it is that something's not working.
True. Well, that's not going to be the reason that people communicate with us, but yeah. So streamlined communication, one joint meeting. Nothing's changing between both orgs. We're just integrated, and we worked all year to make sure that we had the processes in place, that every team was coordinated well. And so, we're going to have this ownership between both of single points of contact and meetings that are streamlined and reporting. And it's on top of which there's exciting technology that we're going to continue to innovate with. So really, really, really excited.
Oh, well, we're excited. And I'm sure there's going to be tons of buzz and energy around this on the floor. How cool that both companies get to be at NADA together and have all these joint conversations. So we're excited to see how that plays out. Thanks for being brave enough to join us as our guest commentator today, because
thanks for having me. I'm not going to say that I'm not nervous.
Okay. Well, here's the format, right? We're going to do a story, and then I'll read the first story, and then I'm just going to be like, open it up for comment. Right.
Okay.
And we're being recorded in live stream. Hey, I want to welcome Chris just commented on LinkedIn. What's up, guys? Chris from Vroom. Chris, what is up? We've had so many new, they call themselves Vroommates, join our community after we posted a full comprehensive Google Doc of all the Vroom associates now looking for a new home in automotive. And so if you go to our LinkedIn page, you'll see that post there. And if you are looking to hire some really passionate people about the auto industry and welcome them into the retail network with open arms, that's the place to be. So we're going to kind of continue that conversation into this first story. So the big conversation, right, has been around the closure and subsequent layoffs at the online retailer Vroom. They are the only company showing signs of change. A sweeping trend is starting to reshape a little bit of the corporate landscape, as several high profile companies also announcing layoffs, from tech companies to media companies. And we just want to bring a little bit of attention to this, for one, to just know what's going on in the rest of the corporate world, but also I think to spring up some gratitude about the strength of the retail auto industry. So Microsoft has initiated layoffs affecting 1,900 jobs in gaming divisions, mostly Xbox and Activision Blizzard, which they acquired a while ago as what they're calling a strategic alignment. LA Times is cutting 20% of its newsroom staff, totaling 115 editorial employees. Online reporter Business Insider reducing its workforce by 8%. So obviously the news industry changing quite a bit, the media business changing quite a bit. Paramount Global also announcing job cuts as a part of cost-cutting measures for international content. And Google, eBay, Discord, TikTok, and Twitch have also announced layoffs, including, it's not in the notes here, but also Salesforce is reducing its workforce, I think, by an additional 1% after 10% of last year. So, things are changing, right?
Things are changing. Lots happening. And, I'm not sure exactly how this is going to impact auto. But Microsoft just bought Activision and now is laying off 1,900 people in that division. So it's clear that things are changing first half of the year. And luckily, we haven't seen a ton of this impact in auto, except for in Vroom and Northwest Power Sports. I haven't really seen tech companies being in this position. We're more seeing the stuff like Subi's talking about, which is partnerships, growth and growth, right?
Yeah. Yeah. My heart breaks for the people affected. We're definitely seeing it across all this technology right now, which I feel is still this domino effect of what we honestly saw since COVID, which is weird to continue to talk about 4 years later.
It's
but
true, though.
It's heartbreaking. But again, I think we are getting stronger. We are focused more on consumer experience. We're going to see announcements from huge juggernauts really trying to get more into the space. So I don't think that the battle is quite done, where we should take the foot off the gas of improving that consumer experience and streamlining it so that it's just better, easier, faster for people to want to engage with franchise dealerships. So I think that, or independent for use, there's a lot of opportunity out there. We just have to keep chipping away at it. But I don't think we're done. But
super keen observation, because there are a lot of tech companies and even manufacturers, large retailers looking to siphon market share in the automotive space, because it is still a burgeoning business sector. And so as some of these companies like lose opportunities in other verticals, they may look to auto to find opportunities. And it's going to be important that the companies that are already doing business are continually innovating to keep up and not fall by the wayside. So I think that's a great observation.
Well, speaking of companies streamlining and trying to innovate.
Stop.
Segue.
Time.
All right. So Lincoln plans to cut 100 more dealerships in 2024, following the reduction of 100 in 2023, looking for a more compact, profitable, and streamlined network of around 400 stores nationally. That's the target. So their buyouts include incentives like increased inventory, right? A lot of Ford, Lincoln dealerships out there, specialty loyalty plans for customers, as well as a strategy to enhance the throughput through the existing or the remaining dealerships. So they want to really create brand exclusive stores, reducing the dual Lincoln Ford showrooms with an emphasis on an increased client experience, right? Something we talk about a lot. But despite the recent challenges, including sales decline and pause in its EV certification program, they say they're optimistic about the future, highlighted by all these model refreshes that are about to drop this year and next year. Diane Craig, the president of Lincoln, emphasized the importance of thoughtful consolidation when she said, "We want to help dealers very transparently in working through the considerations and really forming stronger partnerships." So we're talking about streamlining operations and leaning into making the existing dealers more profitable. And obviously the customer experience is the thing that they say they're shooting for.
I don't think this is the first time that you'll hear this story over the next 3 years from manufacturers looking to get better experiences in the showroom. And the reason being is typically what happens is kind of the lower percentile of dealerships in CSI and experience start to get cut to prioritize that better experience. What this does actually is put Lincoln at about 150 to 180 cars per rooftop sold in new cars, which I think is a really strong target. It gives a lot of profitability to the dealers that make it. And it gives a streamlined communication pattern for customer experience to make sure that you're getting the best experience out of the best dealers. And, you know, I do think like this idea of, hey, let's make sure that we don't have this Ford Lincoln showroom actually enables a little bit better brand presence, even though it's the same company. So I just think that we're going to see this happen at multiple manufacturers, especially mid to high lines.
For sure. Subi, any thoughts on this, especially on the customer experience side?
So many thoughts. I mean, again, I kind of bridged what we just talked about to this, because it may seem disheartening, but I think what it is ultimately going to do is strengthen the position, because when there's so many options, we are just competing with each other instead of with the conglomerates that are coming into the space or have been in the space to take that market share away from the franchises in general, right? Like, my husband is from tech. He's been around automotive for the entire time I've been here, almost 2 decades. And so he has kind of a different view, but even still, he looks at the experience and websites, and we have very loud debates about this all the time, because he worked for Amazon, and they come from this very tech heavy, it's not easy at all perspective. So if all these big organizations with billions of dollars to throw are wanting to get into the space and take that market share, they very well could. We can't ignore that. So when we get more strategic and less focused on fighting each other and more focused on our brands and selling that experience, I think it's probably going to shift back for us to kind of have that control and change the narrative of what it means to engage with a dealership.
I think that's this element of this changing demographic. I was reading an article this morning about what Gen Z buyers want. And it is like there's another shift and a pivot going on of people liking to walk into a store. And we know, like, the auto data that we have is saying, like, yo, most people really do want to come into the store. But Gen Z is even more focused on a meaningful experience. not just a good experience, but a meaningful experience. And I think all of these moves and all these shifts of people spending more time looking at customer experience would be well served to look for, like, how do I make it meaningful and not just good? So a lot of transition going on. And
I feel like you have a little like thing in your office somewhere that says make it meaningful or something like that. I don't know where that came from.
It's just part of my DNA. Yeah, we have a big neon sign in our conference room. It just says make it meaningful on the wall in neon.
That's the next Asodu shirt.
Yes. Let's do it. Done. We're gonna make you the first.
You're talking my language, though. It's so like the sociological impacts of how generations kind of shift their behavior. And I think millennials being raised by a certain group that had this, don't buy new cars, dealers have like so much shadiness to them, like all those narratives that millennials were raised on is very different from the reality and experience of Gen Z. And so when Gen Z is coming into this space, the kind of gig economy and shared vehicles, all of that has shifted through COVID. And so now we're seeing people who have zero experience making phone calls to dentists that really want a better experience, but also want to touch and feel the car to feel comfortable in it, that don't have as strong opinions. So we have this really wide open opportunity to completely shift the narrative with that generation.
So much fun. And thinking about our new roommates who are paying attention to the show and the content, Vroom, obviously online only. We hope that you get to experience how cool it is to actually come to a building every day where people are fired up to deliver a great experience. And you get to actually see the customers and see the families and see the joy that happens when the process is done right and they get to get in the new car. It's so rewarding and so much fun. All right.
Speaking of showrooms, Paul,
let's do it.
Segue.
We'll wrap this one because it's in our happy place when we get to talk about this. EV automaker Fisker is undergoing a significant shift in sales strategy for its Ocean EV, moving from direct sales and now embracing third-party retailers. That's dealers, fam.
Dealers, everyone.
Not just that, but they're sending an entourage to NADA next week. They're currently courting over 65 dealers to bring their vehicles to their franchise. The company recently hosted a number of dealers at an open house event in California. Heinrich Fisker himself is going to be attending NADA for the first time, including participating in private dealer meetings and giving a speech emphasizing their commitment to this new dealer partnership strategy. He stated, "We're not really asking for crazy money for investment," Fisker outlined. He really has an approach of rapidly expanding the Ocean's presence, their new EV, with first deliveries in the week of February 5th. If you don't know, Heinrich was a part of the Tesla development team for the Model S and was later sued by Elon Musk for taking developments to start his own company. So this guy's full troublemaker, and he's coming to the dealers, fam.
He is. We have to figure out where this private suite is so we can just crack. I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. And if we do find out, we're not going to tell you. But we need to figure out how to get an interview with Heinrich Fisker.
We're going to do that.
I just thought that.
Subi, can you hook us up? She's like,
I think I actually can.
Right now.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
the real reason we invited you on the show. We knew you had a connection. No, but for real, connect us, because there is this motion, and we've seen it with VinFast and with Fisker. Who else announced that they're using deal? What's the other company? Was it just Fisker? Maybe
Fisker
it was.
and VinFast, yeah.
Okay, so this move saying we understand the complexities. BYD. Yes, we've understand the complexities of trying to go it alone, trying to do it online, trying to have these kind of like little showrooms that aren't really dealerships, that people just want more of an experience. So we're excited. And I think what they're going to see is kind of being one of the first movers to come in is that they're going to be embraced by the dealer body, and it's going to supercharge their efforts to get these cars in front of people, to get people in the cars, to have people become passionate about it. And, man, it's going to be exciting that it's all happening like starting next week. So Subi, you have a connection here. Tell us about, do you have a Fisker?
No.
Just like,
I'm not that connected, but
yeah.
I do like know my team, and now the extension of my team with DealerOn, I believe that there's some contacts that I can pull for you guys. So
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, it's exciting, right? There's more options and things coming in, but again, I think we're in this space to shift the narrative, and we've seen people latch on to brand new vehicles and technology. So I feel like this is just adding on to that, and it looks really exciting.
Well, I hope we left you this Friday morning with a little excitement for the industry you're in, for what you're doing, and for doing it together. If you're going to be at NADA, we will see you next week. Subi Ghosh, thank you for joining us today. Make it more than cars.
Thank you so much.